Hello there YouTube, GXP Coupe 1 here. Just sort of give you a little bit of an update as to where I am with my LNF rebuild. Just so you know, this video is probably going to contain a shitload of language, so if you're offended by that stuff, turn it off. Anywho, so here we are, the engine is fully disconnected. I just need to now undo the two engine mounts down here, and hook it up and pull it out. I've decided to pull it out with the transmission, just to see if I can do it, because I'd like to put it in fully assembled, which will make aligning the clutch a lot easier. So as you can see, hoses everywhere, labeled stuff that you know, I probably can't remember where it all goes to when I'm done. Parts rack here, everything's bagged, labeled, starter motor, vacuum pump, alternator, fans. It just goes on and on and on. So I was going to show you. Let's turn this biatch over here. Yeah, I don't know if you can't see that. Hang on. So if you can see that stripe, that there, I believe, is evidence of either a broken ring or a broken ring landing, and it's kind of in more than one place. The cylinder in general is not in great shape. Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to tell you how difficult it is to pull the engine out of this thing. You would think, you know, just disconnect everything off the engine, drop the tail shaft, you know, do what you need to around the gearbox, sensors and whatnot, disconnect all that crap, and then hook her up and pull it out. Well, not so much. Not so much. Kappa platform, a little bit of an issue. And as you can see by all the parts, all over the place. And I've got more stored in my other workshop there. What have I got in there? I got the tail shaft and oh, just my exhaust pipe. There's the old head, by the way, rad condenser. So for me to do this in my shop, I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4 jacks, and also a bottle jack that I bought this morning, which I probably don't use, but was going to be handy to have around. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 axle stands to lift her up. So the dilemma is, let me grab a flashlight and where's the fucking flares? Hang on. Oh, that's better. Gonna have a drink of beer. Okay, flashlight. Let's head under the car. So, what you had to do was, oh, by the way, yeah, there's my differential, by the way. So, in sequence, if I can remember, the two sections of tunnel need to come off, and then the gearbox brace, and then you need to get under here and disconnect 6 really nasty screws from the rear output shaft of the gearbox, and then down the back, down here, how come zoom isn't working? That's a pain in the ass. Down here, you have to disconnect 3 gnarly screws there, and then you have to disconnect a ton of big ass bad bolts right around the differential there. And if you haven't got a really strong impact gun, none of this battery operated stuff, none of that works. You've got to have some type of monster impact wrench, which I happen to have, which is lucky, to get these enormous bolts out that hold the differential, which locate the differential onto the rear member there. Yeah, rear member. So all of that's got to come apart. And then that's not bad enough, because down the length of the vehicle there is a torque bar which holds everything together, which basically, I guess, positions the gearbox to the rear end to stop it from twisting during acceleration and whatnot. That's it over there. You can see this monster thing weighs about 100 pounds. And then to get that out, you've got to take, well, I ended up taking the passenger side axle out. That's going to come out of the gearbox because there's not enough room to get this past the differential housing, but you can't move the differential housing out of the way unless you take the axle out of the way. So once the axle's out, then you can move the differential. And then you've got to, of course, to get the axle out, you've got to disconnect all your suspension components here. Brakes and the trailing arm, and there's no trailing arm here, is there? Lower and upper ball joints, and the rear link. I mean, it's just a nightmare. Who the fuck designed this car? Do they really think that nothing's ever going to happen to this car, that no one is ever going to need a clutch? No wonder GM charges like $2,500 to do a clutch job on this thing. It's like a 2-day job even when you've got a hoist and all the right tools. Speaking of tools, I'm going to have a real nice collection of tools that I'm never ever going to use again. This guy here I just had to go and buy. This is a 32mm socket for the axle nut there, which apparently you can't use again. You have to replace. This is it here. And then these are these big badass bolts I was talking about. These you have to replace as well, according to the book. You can't use them twice. They're kind of weird because they're threaded up top here, and then they're threaded down the bottom here. And yeah. And then, I'm working out of 3 manuals here. Right now I've got how to replace the, or how to remove the adjustable rear link. This book over here, I got this one happening on the drive shaft removal process. And then over here we've got engine mechanical. I'm not too sure why that's even open there. Oh, it's got to do with the gearbox removal. And then my other page over here, then we're over here with the transmission replacement again. They've even got a separate section for the ZOK. I wonder why. That's kind of curious. Anyhow, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a rundown on how difficult this has been. I've probably got, I don't know, probably well over 20 hours into it so far, and that's not including, the head or the front end. This is just underneath the vehicle, playing around and trying to get all these enormous bolts loose. Everything's put on with Loctite from the factory. So you got to impact wrench it all the way off. You can't, loosen it and then just hand remove it. But yeah, so that's where we're at. Pretty much everything's disconnected underneath now. There's one sensor on top of the gearbox I can't get to, so I'm going to have to lower the gearbox, see if I can get my hand up there. And other than that, I'm getting ready to hook this bad boy up. Not even too sure where to attach the chains. There's supposed to be a lift hook right about here. My engine doesn't seem to come with one. Anyway, got my, as I was talking about, tools that I'd never use again. So there's my engine crane that I got. And then over here we've got a 3/4 ton engine leveler. I guess that's going to make the engine come out level. And then here we've got an engine stand, so I can rebuild it. So there. I guess that wasn't such a short video, was it? And I didn't nearly cuss enough, considering my level of frustration and intensity here. Anyway, there she is. There you go. And hope you enjoy. Bitch of a job. Don't do it. If you needed your clutch or you got to put a new engine in, take it to someone, get them to do it, and then they'll know never to work on a Solstice ever again in their life. Okay, thank you. Take care.